Hey there, YouTube. I'm Forrest Lauderdale Skeptic. If you like the content I'm putting out here, please like and subscribe and share it with your friends. It really helps out the channel. Besides that, enjoy the clip.
The phrase that people use is, my shelf broke. And I don't think of it as a shelf. It's like it's your house, your structure, the world you live in comes crumbling down and you have to rebuild it. And that's what I think why you see some people swinging so far in the other direction. And that's why I think a lot of people, a lot of ex-Mormons become very, if your classic Mormon is pretty politically conservative or socially conservative, they become an ex-Mormon and they go all the way to the other side. They become super liberal, socially liberal, politically liberal. They become woke, whatever. And I think it's just because they don't know what to do. They're like, I'm running from that, so I'm going to go over there. But the real process is you have to painstakingly rebuild your entire world, like the house you lived in, right? Like now you have to pick up each board, and an intelligent person is going to inspect each thing now one at a time and decide, do I keep this or is this trash? And you throw it out or you keep it and you use it to rebuild. And I think there's a lot of good in Mormonism. There's a lot of good in Christianity, right? So it's not throwing the baby out with the bathwater, but the process of rebuilding does involve a painstaking analysis of almost every detail. You have to reevaluate every bit of it as you rebuild. So what is our role with that? That's a big question.
I also always want to say that I actually like the analogy of like taking away the shelf analogy, and it's actually your house. And what we should be doing is after your house collapses because there were some, beams that weren't structurally sound, now you have a giant heap of wood on the ground that was your house, and you need to actually inspect each piece of wood and be like, this is actually a bad piece of wood that we don't want to build our house with because it's probably what caused it to collapse in the first place, garbage. Oh, this is a nice piece of oak, so we're gonna keep that. um, and it's very painstaking and slow, and a lot of people, I think, um, do one of two things: they either just rebuild the house the same way, or they just say, I'm gonna go get all new lumber.
What we want prepackaged, right? We want convenient. We want the prepackaged dinner. Like here it is. Here's Mormonism. All of life's questions are answered, right? There's a plan of salvation. You're incredibly important. Everything's going to work out in the end. Don't worry. Here it is. Just pay us 10%, wear these special clothes, and do these things, and you're going to be better off. And honestly, there's some truth to that. Like you have anyone with direction and purpose is going to feel a little better. They're going to function better, right? Like a
Yeah,
ship without a rudder, without wind, a sailboat without wind is adrift, right? And it's a hard place to be. You want a direction, even if it's the wrong direction. There's something reassuring about going in some direction, right?
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
ex-Mormons dump that and they grab the prepackaged dinner of wokeism or hardcore atheism, and they get super militant about everything, and they buy everything about everything that Richard Dawkins says or everything that whoever says, and they just take it like a new religion. Where the smart process is to now break down what you have and then rebuild, and it's not black and white.
What do you think are some of the pieces of lumber, let's say, that you try to keep in your new house? If you're
Uh,
following the analogy.
so it's funny. I've thought about this kind of question, not necessarily quite like this, a lot. um like I don't have a religion, right? I don't belong to any denomination. I don't have a community. And so it's like I think we as humans are supposed to have that, right? Like historically, evolutionarily, we had small groups that we were part of. Mormon church does a good job of creating a small group for you. You got your ward family, right? Like, and you're assigned to look out for each other. You're home teaching, you're going to look after these two families, and that's a great program, right? So what my wife and I and our family, I think in some way, without always articulating it, we've kind of like a localism. Like our literal neighborhood is like our little ward, right? Like we find each people in the family or in the neighborhood, and we have like an old grandparent over there, and we have some other families around us, and like we kind of create a new community there. So that's definitely a piece of wood I want to keep from the church. Is like a service, community centric view of things.
That's all I've got. I'll be releasing the full interview soon. I'm Forrest Lauderdale Skeptic, and thank you for watching.